I've given up on my protest to Jacob. Oh my god, Damon Harry keeps invalidating this guy. It's Bahrain. Right, let's see. Who's the therapist now? Validates. No. Bro, Cadillac in the house. Alrighty, let's see what Woodbutcher can do. The new Cadillac team. His teammate Skovcon ain't racing tonight. Slide down to the last corner now to start his lap. Darren's turn 1 down into gear 2 for most rotation. He's on full, up to gear 3 for the exit. Up to gear 4, shift ups, turn straight line mode on. It's the Red Bull. Gets out of the way. Down to gear 3. Yes, is now keeping it nice and tight, not trying to validate. Let the car run out wide, not pushing curbs as much as you can. Good lap so far from Woodbutcher. Down into the downhill braking zone. Hits the apex nicely on the inside. These two cars now, he's going to get a little bit of a tow behind the Aston and the Merc. Into sets 2 now, it's a purple middle set to 3 times seconds lap. We'll improve him to let's see if we can find some more time on the set there. It's the Aston of Harry is going to get a great toe down the start finish line. Woodbutch crossed the line now. It's going to be P9, 4 temps improvement. It's DMN Harry now is going to get a big toe. See the rubber is Jacob starting his lap to finish his lap, but he's invalidated. Jacob starting his lap. JB. Find any improvements, jump back to P9. Does improve, but it's not enough to get P9. The speed now goes to P11. David, what can David do? 2 temps up currently, he could take provisional pole here. Doesn't. He lost 2 temps. Does not improve. Raffino starts his lap. DMN Harry, can he get a decent lap on the board? He's got no battery up to the start finish straight, but he goes P9 ahead of Woodbutcher. We're happy with that as Theo then replace him in P9. See what Jacob can do. The 10th up currently. Jacob improves by 2.5 temps, taking P4. Butcher starting another lap now. His turret improves by 2 tenths to go faster still into the 27.9s now. Yara improved. Yara did improve. 3.5 tenths takes him up to P5. Wants to match up well wide. It's going to be P7 doesn't improve. Therapist is invalidated again. He's going to go for another lap. Right on board with Therapist this lap. Maybe a little bit too much curb into turn 1, but nice on out on the exit turn 2 and 3. Down straight now to turn 4. Easy onto the throttle as there's a bit of a hilly part on the track. Into the S's now. Keep it nice and tight on the inside, letting the car run wide a little bit. Hit the apex on the inside, get early on the throttle. As we've got Rafa spinning in turn 1. Won't be too happy with that. Therapist now using a lot of battery compared to the other drivers in sector 2. See what his middle set time is. He's 5 tenths up. He's could put in P4 or P3. Therapist do now. Coming into the final corner, keeping nice and clean. Oh, commentator's curse. Cleaned on the final corner. Rafa not on a lap. Howlands has invalidated. David now only car on track with a lap. He's right on board with him for the rest of the lap. Could get a good toe down the back straight from Rafa in the Ferrari here. All his battery. Hit the inside curb and he's spun on the exit as well. 2 drivers now. Too throttle happy on the exit of the final corner. Border Speedhawk now making his full-time return to NSC in the Alpine. Currently P30, probably looking for a top 10 start. Speedhawk now opening his lap up, looking for some sort of improvement. He is not going to burn any battery down straight. Interesting. Unless he's going for 2 out laps. Must be because now you've got a straight line there. Nice. 3 seconds down. Potential championship contender this season. Looking good in the Red Bull. He's going to go open his final lap of this quali. wheel spin, but didn't lose the car. Down to turn 4 now. Want to keep it nice and clean. A little bit too much curb, I'd say, but good exit. Gets throttled down nice and early. He's up by half a tenth. It's an improvement, but it's not massive. Coming to the end of sets 2, let's see, has he found any more time in the middle sector? He's 2 tenths up. This is going to be good for Jacob. This could put him temporarily P2. If he could find any more time, he could be challenging Turf P for pole position. Final corner now. Doesn't spin. Foot flat to the floor. Burn all the battery. 28-0, Jacob Attlee, P2 currently, first to take the checkered flag. We've got Wood Butcher now, does improve by half a second. Monster Nasher jumps to P4, good luck from Monster Nasher. JB Car Crazy now, doesn't improve. Kian looking for some sort of improvement. What can he do? Doesn't improve either. Therapist now. Does improve by 3 tenths, but doesn't gain him any positions. Theo does improve by 10. Yarrow jumps to P3, 4.5 tenth improvement from Yarrow. DMN Harry does not change position. Albin's now to the line. P4, as we've got Speedhawk now leading a train. David, P4. Rafa now, final car to cross the line. Half a tenth improvement. So that is the starting grid then for the first quali in season 4. Tur takes pole by just over a tenth of a second to Jacob in the Red Bull. 2 McLarens then lock out the second row. Great laps from both of them, very close on timings. Albans in P5, the 2 Ferraris in P6, 7th Rafa, could have done a lot more. Therapist 8th, had much more time on his second lap, but span in the back. Therapist P8 after that throttle input on the last corner cost him lap time. Theo in the Merc P9. DMN Harry rounds out the top 10 ahead of Wood Butcher, JB, Speedhawk, and Kian at the back of the grid. A lot of people exceeding track limits, say. So it'll be Tur starting on pole for the first round of season 4. So obviously a lot of people now will be going for a 1-stop, medium to hard, or hard to medium. A few maybe outside top 10, maybe going for a 2-stop. Trying to get as many places they can. Soft tyre will probably not be used this weekend. Very high wear around Bahrain. Drivers now sorting out their setups and their race strategies. two Danes, Jacob and Tur, lining up on the front row. Will they keep it clean into turn one? We're going to have formation lap first before we find anything out. So Tur's going to lead them away. Let's have a look at the tyres. Everyone's going medium to hard. There's Woodbutch in the back. I'm guessing span off the start. It's a good start for Woodbutcher. So Tur, obviously, Season 3 Tier 1 champion. Looking to start off strong. Reserving in the V-carb. Jacob behind him. Could be challenging him for the lead and for the win. And he knows full well he could be fighting for a championship this season. Two very fast McLarens behind him. Yarrow, everyone knows Yarrow's pace. David, very fast in P4. Haldman's in P5. He'll be looking to try and finish on the podium. Good race quality from Monster Nasher. Hopefully he can keep the pace up in the race. Rafa in P7. I'm sure he'll be challenging for a podium. Therapist P8, he'll be trying to get on the podium as well. He'll try and drive through the field. And a battle for the points. Theo, DMN Harry, Woodbutcher, JB Car Crazy, Speedhawk, TTV Kian. This formation lap finishes, all trying to get temperature into their front tyres now, weaving into their pit spot. I can't even speak. Start spots. To edging up slowly. Got 3 people disqualified. Season 4, Bahrain, round 1. It's going to be lights out. And away we go. It's a good start from Jacob Tur. Holds the lead of the race. Jacob got bogged down in the second phase. Yarrow's now going to challenge him around the outside. Jacob keeps P2 for now. And Yarrow goes round the inside on to the round the outside onto the inside to get past Jacob now. Into P2 is Tur now already 6 tenths into the lead. Jacob's going to be trying to make up for that start. There's Rafa now up to P. Rafa's dropped to P9. Therapist up to P7. Theo up to P8. Kian's made it up 3 places already. Woodbutcher's dropped to P13. But the majority of people staying where they are as JB Car Crazy now challenging DMN Harry. Who's going to be finishing the first lap in P10 as Woodbutcher gets a little bit squirrely out of the exit. Crossing some more positions. As Harry now. Rafa's spun under traction. His first race with no TC. Okay, Rafa. Everyone makes mistakes. Tur now. Still leading the race. Trying to break out the 1 second so Yarrow can't get the overtake boost for the next lap. Jacob closing in behind. David now making a move on Jacob. Jacob's going to hang it round the outside. A little bit of contact. As Rafa spinning around again. Really struggling on that, on the no TC. But it's Tur that leads him into lap 2 now. Jacob and David. David tried to move around the outside as Jacob ended up losing a position to Haldman's, but Haldman now back behind David. Theo up to P7 now, ahead of Therapist. Kian up to P9. That's a good start for Kian. And Speedhawk to P10. DMN Harry dropped to P13 as JB Car Crazy makes a move on Woodbutcher. And Woodbutcher seems to be slowing down as DMN Harry now passes him. We've got Rafa then along at the back. But David's still trying to get past Jacob here. Jacob gets better traction, keeps the position for now, but will David have a look down the inside of him? He's going to go for the lunge. Can he keep position? He's gone a little bit wide. He's going to give Jacob a chance now round the outside, but Jacob slots in behind him. Thinks better of it. Is now P3 is Rafa spinning again. He's retired on track and left. David now P3. Not going to get the overtake boost. It's going to be good for Jacob to get past him. He's going to try and do it on the straight. Yarrow gets the boost behind Tur. Closing in now. Tur's flashing. Has he got enough? As Jacob gets past David as well. Yarrow close now behind Tur's V-carb. He's going to have a look into turn 4. It's not going to be close enough. Monster Nash trying to go down the inside of Theo, but Theo keeps the position around the outside. Therapist is slightly dropping off, a second behind now. Speedle trying to go round the outside of Key and locks up slightly. Keeping it nice and clean between the two of them. Speedle now gets the better traction. Going to hold the inside line for the next corner. But before we do that, we're going to have a look towards the front of the pack. All in a bit of a train now behind Jake. Jacob's struggling to keep up with the leaders. 2 seconds behind now. As Tur leads him now into lap 4. Yarrow following close behind him as Wood Butcher now spins. Can Yarrow make a move onto down the main straight? He's going to get close. Is he going to make a move down the inside? He's not. He's going to wait until the next straight. As Halbrand's now round the outside of David. David keeps it nice, defends the inside. But can Halbrand's get the inside line now? He's going to get better traction. And they've spun. They've collided out of turn 3. Halbrand's falls right back into P9. David to P7. David probably not given the space on the outside. That's what happens when you don't leave the space. Now we ride back on board. Tur and Yarrow. Monster Nash getting close to Theo. Looking for that P4. Jacob now pulls a second on Theo. That's going to be good for him in the overtake zone, but Theo slightly hanging on slightly. As David goes down the inside of Therapist. Not Therapist's strongest track. But he is going to get the overtake now as JB gets a 3 second for track limits. But Therapist will get the overtake behind David. Tur seems to have managed to lose Yarrow a little bit. He's going to keep the lead now into lap 5. Theo and Monster Nash is still going at it. Brought back up to Jacob though. Jacob really struggling on pace. You can see the sparks coming out the back of his Red Bull. It's the man Harry now. It's his second drive to pick up a penalty. Only lap 5. It's Keane and Speedhawk going at it again in the same corner. Keane though gets the better traction. The Speedhawk goes slightly deep in braking zone, goes off track. JB picks up a position. The man Harry did the same as well. This could give Howland's now a chance. As Woodbutch, after his spin earlier, he's catching up. Showing that he has got pace. Jacob now could be under threat here. Did Yara get the overtake? Did he get the boost? He did not. Yara is outside of turns 1 second. This could cost him. He's gained it back though. He needs to stay within the 1 second this whole lap now. He's not going to have the extra recharge and the extra speed. Jacob's still holding that P3. 4 seconds behind the top two. It's Theo and Monster Nasher going to try and get past him. Speedhawk, Kian and JB Car Crazy. JB trying to get past Speedhawk now. Speedhawk's got his car in the right position. But JB now going to look down the inside. Keeping it nice and clean. Giving each other enough room. Speedhawk. JB now on the inside of the S's. Speedhawk's going to try around the outside into the inside. Giving each other just enough room. Speedhawk's going to keep the position for now. Go slightly deep. That could cost him on the exit. Let's see what's going to happen now on the next run along the start-finish straight. Yarrow still 8/10 back. He's managed to hold on to the second this lap. He's got the overtake boost. It's Kian now, very close behind Theo, Monster Nasher and Jacob still battling away. As we've got Kian passing JB Car Crazy now up into P8 again. Can Speedhawk maybe have a look? He does have a look. He's gone down the inside of JB. He's kept it nice and clean. JB now falls back to P10. Speedhawk P9. Kian P8. Therapist still behind David in the McLaren. Not showing the pace that I thought he would be. His teammate Jacob and team principal under pressure from P4 and 5 as Harry gets another 3-second penalty. Jacob seems to be managing his tyres well. Has enough pace to keep these two behind him, but it could be closer this time on the start-finish straight. Speedhawk very close behind Kian. But JB even closer behind Speedhawk. JB's going to make a move down the inside of Speedhawk. It goes side by side. JB later on the brakes. He gets past the Alpine. Up into P9. So they continue their battle into the next corner. And Speedhawk now goes down the inside. And we're missing the battle at the front. Can Jacob hold on now to P3? Theo very close. Monster Nash are going to go down the inside. Thinks better of it as Theo goes very late on the brakes. Could cost him now on the exit. Jacob also a bit late. Monster Nash gets a little bit throttle happy. Let's see, can Theo make a move now? Can't. Jacob keeps hold of his P3 for another lap. But losing massive amount of time to the leaders. We're already 5.5 seconds away. Therapist now probably getting a little bit frustrated behind David. David started P4, had a collision with Haldman's, dropped to P7, but he's made his way back up to P6. As Haldman's goes very late on the brakes, locks his rear slightly, trying to make a move on Kian. Gets a bit of wheel spin on the exit, and he locks up completely into the downhill section. This could give DMN Harry a chance. As Haldman's now has dropped all the way to P12. As DMN Harry gets through on him as well. As Theo, I've missed it. Theo, battle goes 3 wide. Jacob gets past. Theo again, but he doesn't get overtake this lap. Theo's going to get it as Monster Dash is very close. Yarrow struggling to make any move on Tur. Tur seems to have the pace under control. But here we go then. As David pits, that could give Therapist a chance. Jacob locks up slightly into turn 1. Keeps it nice and clean. Down is turn 4 now. Jacob stays P3, Theo P4, Monster Dash P5, but they're all very close together. One mistake could cost many positions here. Therapist now up to P6 after David pits, the first person to pit. And JB and Kian also pitting. Potentially damage. As it stands, Yarrow now, closest he's been for a while, only 5 tenths back behind Tur. Monster Nasher gets past Theo on the middle straight. Loses a bit of time to Jacob though. That could give Jacob the chance to get out of the overtake mode. Monster Nasher seems to be holding on just enough. Jacob has enough battery. Monster Nasher 8 tenths back now. Yarrow 8 tenths at the end of the start-finish straight. Yarrow does not have an answer to Tur. Tur seems to have enough battery every time they go down that straight. So they're 7 seconds in front of P3 Jacob now. This Therapist now goes into the pits. Going to be hoping to come out ahead of David. As Howdman spins again. But this is what we're going to be looking for. David out of battery now. He's going to come out ahead of Therapist. What's the gap going to be? Therapist and Speedhawk are very close in the pits. Very close together. 8 seconds behind Therapist. David now lies Therapist. Was about a second before the pits. Yarrow now seems to be very close in behind Tur, but Tur has plenty of battery again to defend down straight. Gains a bit of time on the exit. Yarrow gets a little bit wobbly on the exit. He's going to burn, but it's not going to be enough as Tur. Plenty more battery. As Theo's dropped off the back of Monster Nasher and Jacob. It's going to be Jacob's completely out of battery. Monster Nasher now getting close to the rear wing of that Red Bull. He's not going to make a move down the inside. Jacob nice and tidy through turn 1 and 2. Gets the foot down. Monster Nasher now with the overtake boost for this whole lap. As we're going to see David and Howdman's battling. Howdman's now with the overtake as well. That drops Dave down to P7 with a 3-second track limit penalty as well. Where any of the leaders now jump into the pits at the end of this lap. We've had a few cars pitting already. From David in P7 down to Wood Butcher in P13 have all pitted. Actually, I don't even know if Wood Butcher's pitted. Yes, Howdman's has not pitted though. Howdman's going to come out behind everyone. Yarrow still struggling to keep up. Tur fakes the pit stop. Yarrow doesn't buy it though. He keeps going. It's Monster Nasher now very close behind Jacob. He's going to get the overtake boost for another lap. This could be the chance for Monster Nasher to get onto the podium. Jacob seems to have enough battery though. Very low on it now. Is Monster Nasher going to make a move down the inside? He's not. Jacob's just got to keep his car nice and tight through turn 1, which he does. Bit of contact. Jacob keeps hold of his P3. 8 seconds behind the top 2 now. There's Kian. Looks very close behind the back of that Haas. Trying to get some points to start the season strong for Aston Martin. Speedhawk now as well. Very close behind Therapist. Can Speedhawk make a move now? He's going to try around the outside into turn 1. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be Speedhawk. Goes very deep though. That could give Therapist a chance. Speedhawk gets a good exit and keeps the position, but Therapist now going to try and come straight back at him. But he's going to think better of it. He's not going to try and make a move. This Monster Gnasher seems to be falling off the back of Jacob slightly. Has Jacob been looking after his tyres, trying to extend a bit longer? Monster Gnasher now struggling a lot as Jacob's been burning the battery. And he's going to get out as Yarrow continues his tour, dives into the pits, the first of the 2 leaders to pit. Can Yarrow get the overcut now? As Jacob follows Tour into the pit, same with Monster Gnasher and Theo. Now comes out to the pits. Nice clean air in front of him. No one close behind him. As he lights up the rears a lot on the exit turn 1. Could have lost the car but saved it. Jacob now out of the pits as well. He's got a bit of a gap now to Monster Gnasher. Theo lighting up the rears well on the exits. Therapist now gets past Speedhawk. Doesn't. Speedhawk keeps the position. Goes fairly deep. Monster Gnasher now closing in on the back of Jacob. As we have Wood Butcher, I believe. It is Wood Butcher. Wood Butcher in the Cadillac. Spinning again and again. Nearly DNFs out of the race. That'll be a new front wing for him, I reckon. Yarrow dives into the pits now. We're going to see what the gap is. Has he pulled off the overcut? Or has Tur managed to get him on the undercut? It looks like it's going to be Tur coming down the last straight now. Tur coming onto the start-finish line now. He's going to be very close in the exit. But Tur is going to... Is he going to get it? He is going to get it. It's going to be very close on the exit. It's going to be Tur leading him into turn 1. Very close behind now. Yarrow could not pull off the overcut. There's Monster Gnasher now. Still sitting behind Jacob. Theo has dropped off slightly now. Therapist lining up a move maybe for Speedhawk. Therapist is going to blast past Speedhawk now on the start-finish straight. Speedhawk can have a look down the inside. He isn't. But Therapist goes slightly deep, locks up his rears slightly. Could give Speedhawk a chance now to get him straight back. Monster Gnasher now very close behind Jacob again. Yarrow. 1 lap fresher tyres. It's not going to make a difference right now, but later in the race, if he can keep close with Tur, he could have a chance of battling for the win. Right on board with Monster Gnasher in the Ferrari. Blew into the back of Jacob very nicely. These new 2026 cars not giving off too much dirty air. As Monster Gnasher goes over the exit, gets a 3 second. That could cost him a podium position now. We're going to see Speedhawk and Therapist again, the closest battle on track as Tur pulls a second over Yarrow. Yarrow doesn't seem to have an answer for Tur this weekend. Can Tur finally get one over the McLaren driver? It's Jacob and Montanasher. Montanasher closing the game, but it's not going to be enough. He's not got enough battery to challenge Jacob. But Jacob does go very wide. This could give Montanasher a very good chance. He's going to have a look down the inside, but he's going to think better of it. Going to go through the S's. Could he make a move down to the next hairpin? He's not. He's going to stay behind Jacob now. Very close. Gets a little bit throttle happy though on the exit. That could cost him a chance on the next straight. Going to stick on board with these two. Montanasher now very close behind Jacob. Jacob holds it off very well. Still got enough pace to stay in front. Speedhawk still challenging, trying to get that P7 off the therapist. Howland's now gets a 3 second. Yarrow's been completely dropped by Tur. 1.8 seconds now, the gap between the top two. Tur sets a new fast lap of 30.7. Montanasher now is very close behind the back of Jacob's Red Bull. Is he going to try and make a move? He's going to pull alongside. He's going to blast past Montanasher now up into P3 after 16 laps behind Jacob. He finally gets past him. As we've got TTV Kian off the track. DMN Harry now, as it stands, up in P9. Season 1 DNF merchant doing wonders for his new team. His team goes off again. He's going to peel into the pits because this be him retiring from the race. Or is he going to pit? I think he's just going to pit. He's going to keep going. As Yara now has pulled a second back onto. Has Yarrow actually got the pace to compete with Tur? He's going to get the overtake now. As Tur spins it on the last corner. Tur has gone round on the final corner. Too much throttle. Yarrow now takes the lead of the race. Tur could be in trouble now from the two drivers behind. He's going to have a lot of rubble on his tyres. Montanasher sets fast lap on the mediums. He's only 1.3 seconds behind Tur now on the fast compounded tyres. But he will have to stop again. I believe everyone started on the medium, so Montanasher is going to have to go for a toe stop here. It's going to cost him a lot of positions as he's disconnected from the lobby. I haven't got him added. I don't think. I better have a look. I do not. Montanasher disconnects from the lobby, and I can't invite him back. As Jacob now gets back onto the podium. Theo's going to start looking for that P4. David now back up to P6. Therapist and Woodbutcher still, not Woodbutcher, Speedhawk still going at it for P6. P7, sorry. But it will be P6 at the end of the race. Montanasher has to pit again. But leading the race now is QDR Yarrow in the McLaren after Tur's spin. Tur 7 seconds behind now. Jacob 3 seconds behind Tur. Montanasher still not back in the lobby. Theo using a lot of battery trying to catch up to Montanasher's AI. David now, you can see behind Theo. Theo will be checking his mirrors now. That McLaren will not hang about trying to get past. He's got a 3 second lumen over him. Speedhawk and Therapist still going at it. Both of them out of battery. Therapist keeps P7 for now. As Kian did keep going. After a few spins, he's back on track. He's going against Yarrow, extending his lead. As Harry gets another 3-second penalty. Yarrow extending his lead out front. Jacob's struggling slightly. Monsternash's AI keeping in touch with him. With Theo now very close behind the AI. As Tur now gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. It's gone to an absolute disaster for the pole sitter and the current driver's champion. Jacob now pulls out a massive gap to Monsternash's AI. Jacob could be in for a P2 here. He's got to pick up the pace, which he's doing. He needs to be within 3 seconds of Tur. We know Jacob's got the pace. Let's hope he uses it. As Kian gets another 3 second. Speedhawk. DMN Harry actually gets past JB Car Crazy. Speedhawk still behind. Theo now gets past Monsternash's AI. JB Car Crazy now falling behind DMN Harry. Right, it's not an area you want to be. As it stands, lap 19 of 29, Yarrow extending out in the lead of the race, 7.5 seconds after the spin. We got Jacob then in the Red Bull, 4.5 seconds behind Tur in P3. The Mercedes of Theo in P4, 2 seconds behind him. Monsternash AI, 3-second penalty. But 18 seconds clear of Therapist in the other Red Bull. Good P6 for Therapist today on a track he's not too good at. Speedhawk now completely out of battery. Trying to keep in touch with Therapist. As Therapist been hiding pace. But we're going to watch the battle for P8 and 9 between DMN Harry and JB Car Crazy. DMN Harry moving teams over the transfer break as JB dives into the pits, going for the toe stop. It's David now behind DMN Harry. He must have pitted. I must have missed it. But David, the guy that started on the second row with his teammate, down in P9 now after an adventurous spin. Or collision, should I say, with Albans, who's now in P10. So both of them falling completely down from 5 places at the moment from their starting positions. Right on board, Jacob dropping off behind Tur now, 5.5 seconds. We know Tur was quick, as he's gained half a second now on Yarrow. He's trying to bring that gap down, but will he have enough laps? Does he have enough laps now to bring that gap all the way back down and make the overtake? But Yarrow's got plenty more battery than Tur right now. Jacob comes into turn 1 now, lapping TTV Kian. As Jacob went slightly off track there, a little bit deep. That could cost him Theo behind him now. And it will. Gap coming down, 1.7 seconds now. Theo could be looking on for a podium here. This Therapist now up to P5 as Monsternash has to go and hit again. Solid weekend for the 2 Red Bulls. P3 and 5 as it stands. But Speedhawk will not give up that P5 without a fight. He'll take it to the last race. The last lap of this race. He will not stop. We've We've got Halbrans now, the two Hasses. Both going for the 2-stop as Halbrans comes out of the pits into P11. Not scoring any points right now. Wood Butcher in the Cadillac. He had a bad start to the race, but the second half of the race he's settled down slightly. He's not been making too many mistakes. Going strong. It's not going to be points this weekend. But he knows going forward in the season, points is always a possibility. Same with TTV Kian. Yarrow has pulled 1.5 seconds over Tur since I last checked. And Tur has pulled another 3 seconds on Jacob. These top two are having mega pace this weekend. But Yarrow's still doing enough to keep the lead of the race. Not enough laps for Tur to make a challenge unless Yarrow makes a mistake. But Yarrow does not make mistakes that often. It looks like the win's going to be his for the taking. We got Turn P2 with 3 seconds, but that's not going to make a difference. Jacob in P3. No penalties as DMN Harry gets another 3 seconds. Said that too many times tonight. Theo 1.9 seconds behind Jacob. Will be trying to catch up with the Red Bull. Therapist and Speedhawk still going at it. Lap after lap. Battling for that P5 spot now. So we're going to ride on board now. The battle for P5. Therapist gets the 3 second penalty. That's going to cost him unless Speedhawk picks up a penalty. The Therapist now completely out of battery. Both of them completely out of battery. Battery management, not their strong points this weekend. But Therapist is going to keep it into turn 1. Keep the position. As still on lap 23. Speedhawk. Right on Therapist in the Red Bull. Right on his gearbox. He knows now that all he's got to do is keep it on track. Stay within 3 seconds. That's all he's got to do. Albans now. Closing behind his teammate in the other Haas. Points are guaranteed for the Haas boys this weekend, unless they collide, of course. Albans has collided with David already this race. Kian pits again onto the sauce, maybe going fastest lap, just to get something out of it. Yarrow extending his lead out in front, 9 seconds now, showing that he had more pace in the bag, but just could not get past her in the opening laps. After Tur's spin, he has got past him and he is pulling away. Jacob's still in P3, 3 seconds ahead of Theo in P4. As David gets past more smashes AI now. David now closing onto the battle for P5 as he gets a little bit close to Speedhawk, taps the back of the Alpine. This gives the Therapist a chance to make a little bit of a gap between them. As David now is going to join the battle, looking to try and get back to somewhat where he started. As Theo now picks up a 3 second. That's going to cost his chance for a podium, even if they were very slim. As these 4 cars now line astern on lap 25. Therapist keeps the P5 for now, as David's going to have a look down the inside of Speedhawk. Speedhawk keeps her around the outside. David's going to try around the outside now into the next corner. He's going to make the move. Can Speedhawk hold on down the inside? Yes, he can. But he's going to back out. No, he's not. He's going to make a move. Speedhawk now behind David. David's got the overtake boost. He's going to have it behind Therapist now. But David very low on battery. Same with Speedhawk. David's going to make a move on Therapist. That gives Therapist the chance. David gets a 3-second penalty. And Therapist now with the most battery out of the three of them is going to get the overtake mode. He's going to blast straight past back the McLaren. Speedhawk now maybe having a look down the inside. He's not. David keeps holding to P6, but Therapist back up to P5. Goes slightly deep. This could give David another chance now. David's got a lot more battery. Therapist's got the overtake mode. David goes round the outside of the Red Bull, up into P5 now, as Howland's now sets the fast lap with 30.6. The only battle we have on track now is these three cars battling for P5. Monster Nash's AI now having a look at Speedhawk. Could the AI save the race for Monster Nasher? Speedhawk was a little bit wide there through the long right-hander. Could give the AI a chance. It's Therapist now struggling to keep up with David. David having an excellent pace, but no battery. Neither was Therapist, neither was Speedhawk. But Monster Nash's AI has battery. Could this mean, as Woodbutch gets another 3 seconds, could this mean Monster Nash's AI takes his car up to P7 in front of Speedhawk? Doesn't look likely, as Speedhawk now struggling to keep up with the Therapist. And the Red Bull really dropping off the back of the McLaren. David now seems to have that P5 under control. He's not going to be able to get back up to P4. Not enough laps, too big of a gap. But the battle is going to continue for P6. Speedhawk, the only Alpine looking for a good points result this weekend. Therapist in the Red Bull looking to start the season off strong, aiming for his first win of the season, of the first win in NSC this season. He's got the pace. Maybe not this weekend, but other tracks he's very strong. Monster Nash's AI still living in the background. And only 3 cars out of the 13 have not got penalties this race. Yara now out ahead as Monster Nash's AI does get past Speedhawk. But is Speedhawk going to be able to get back in the exit? He does. Speedhawk, no battery though, same with Therapist. Both of them not great on management. Monster Nash's AI does temporarily get past Speedhawk. DMN Harry still in P9, having a nice lonely race. Haldman's in P10. After his collision with David on the opening laps, it's been a good recovery from Haldman's. Not where he wanted to be, but a point is better than none. But Woodbutcher, as you get onto him, getting a little bit squirrely onto the fast left-hander. In the Cadillac, not a good weekend for the Cadillac. Kian now, P13, lonely race for him. As Yara now starts lap 28, there's a spin. I believe it's Haldman's. again, Howland's not having a great weekend as JB now is going to get back past his teammate. And could give JB a point in this race. Speed still trying to get past Therapist and Rebel, but neither of them are having enough battery. Speed not enough battery to make a challenge. Therapist going to keep his P6 for now. Speedhawk maybe cut the corner there. He's going to get the place anyway from penalties. But last thing he wants is to get a 3 second. As he did get a track limits, that could be his last warning. But we are going to ride on board for the last lap with the McLaren of Yarrow. As he's going to start his final lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. He's had it completely under control since he got past Tur. Tur has not had the pace to catch him back up. You can see the V-carb there in the background going through turn 2 and 3. As Wood Butcher now sets the fastest lap of the race on the softs. Consolation for the Cadillac. Speedhawk still within 3 seconds of Therapist. But all eyes now going to be on Yarrow. Just got to keep it on track now. And he's done just that. The Dutchman now. He's going to come around the final corner. Lap 29 of 29. And Yarrow in the McLaren is going to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Tur is going to have to settle for P2. Jacob Attlee is going to come across the line to finish P3. But it's going to be a great start to the season for Yarrow. And he's going to take the challenge to the current World Drivers' Champion. He's going to challenge him all season. He's made his statement. He's here to fight. Theo across the line for P4. David coming around for P5. Therapist going to hold on to P6, but he's not going to get it. He's going to lose out to Speedhawk. He's going to get him on a penalty. It's going to be Speedhawk in P6, Therapist in P7, Monster Nash in P8. DMN Harry is going to finish in the points. DMN Harry is going to finish P9. And JB is going to round off the top 10. As he crosses the line now to finish P10. And Howdman's, after a crash on the opening laps, going to have to settle for P11. But it's going to be Yarrow that takes the first win of Season 4 in the new 2026 cars. McLaren man, top step of the podium. Surrounded by the 2 Danish drivers. Just realised I said Yarrow was Dutch, not Belgium. Absolute idiot. Still, we can use it for his TikTok. that is it. We'll get the race director for Jacob Attlee and for the FIA. But season 4 will start off with McLaren taking the top step. And I didn't even get the fucking race director. He's going to kill me. Ah, well. It's not my issue. We shall see you all next week for round 2, season 4.